been up all morning.
All morning. Do you want to say what you were doing? Or do you want to lie and pretend it was cool?
I'll let the newspapers break that news, what I was doing all night.
Avoiding the police.
You might have heard me speed past your house at 5 a.m.
I think I was beginning to tell you that I was watching a lot of like racing car movies, and I was.
They said racist car movies.
Yeah, Herbie's. He was MAGA now.
Herbie fully right wing.
But I was putting on different movies. I put on like Drive. I put Driver. I put Baby Driver. I put all these movies on. And I was trying to figure out what I really wanted to see. And
Driving Miss Daisy.
The
most. I was going to say White Knuckle. But half of it is White Knuckle. It's White Knuckle, and we learned that it's okay to be White Knuckle in that movie.
But it turned out what I was looking for was two very specific things: high-speed car chases and demolition derbies. And I spent a good 2 days, and I'm not even done yet, watching demolition derby compilations on YouTube.
May I introduce you to my good friend Burt Reynolds?
I've been actively avoiding Burt Reynolds movies.
He's got everything you're looking for, and then some. And then some you weren't expecting.
I need a sense of brooding in it, but I think I'm going to have to eventually give into Mad World and Smoking the Bandit.
Mad World doesn't have that. You're thinking of Cannonball Run with Burt Reynolds.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He's not. It's another one of car those movie with everybody in it. But anyways, what I was doing awake was watching the gold medal USA versus Canada hockey game. So I'm exhausted, and I'm going to say some weird things.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't blame a gas leak this time.
Last time the only gas leak now is whatever gas leak was in the Canadian locker room. Oh boy.
Jeez. Everything smells like maple leaf in there.
Did the maple factory explode, or did Connor McDavid walk in here?
I don't know who that is.
So we timestamped this. Now we know everyone knows what day we recorded, but do they know what we're recording?
Who knows?
Well, let's tell them. This is LA Meekly, the official podcast of the Olympic Games being over a week ago.
We put an ad on a Zamboni that went across the Olympic ice.
You know what's nice is that they have no ads in the Olympic hockey.
That is pretty nice.
So it's just like you're just looking at hockey players. Which how a heated rivalry. You know, apparently they call that the boy aquarium. I've learned so much during the Olympics.
You've been up so long. What else are you going to do but learn everything?
Yeah, it's not that I was up watching the game. I was up reading about people's attraction for men. That's what I was reading about.
Do you know you could be attracted to men?
Do you know that? Tell me if you've heard this one. But anyway, this is Daniel attracted to men, Zafran.
Now, this is Greg attracted to Daniel Gonzalez.
Oh, wow.
Am I men?
Today I am a man. Today I am a man.
This is the final part of my bar mitzvah.
There's one final
test.
Oh, you did the half tour. I'll give you the full tour now. So for those who aren't familiar with this show, oh boy.
Yeah, we've already
lost you. Try listening to the gas leak episode. That one makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But this is, I'm going to say, the only podcast about Los Angeles history.
I want to say maybe the most consistent of the few left.
So you say that often. You're referring to Hidden History of Los Angeles.
Very good friend of ours, yeah.
Robert Peterson.
Yes.
I don't think he's released an episode in like a year.
Because he makes you want it.
Yeah, he makes you. Nothing's happened.
Yeah.
No new history has happened in Los Angeles.
Not until he says it does.
Not until Robert Peterson decrees this, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and then there it is. Take it. And that's what he says.
That when you download it, there it is. Download it. Or stream it, whatever your preference is in this crazy world. Welcome to the Boy Aquarium. So we talk about Los Angeles history. In this
we sure podcast.
Do. And before we do get into what we are going to be talking about in particular this month, which is March. This is the beginning of spring, so I think people know what's coming, even though it says it in the episode description and title. And But before we get into anything at all, we have two new patrons.
Whoa,
two new patrons. I guess I spoiled one, two. I guess I spoiled the surprise that there's two of them by saying that there's two of them.
Yeah, that usually when you tell me what the surprise is, that ruins the surprise.
Yeah. I've got a surprise to tell you about the two new patrons we've got. A surprise. There's two of them. So the first one we've got to welcome in is Amanda Miller.
Hi, Amanda Miller.
Yeah, Amanda Miller. I don't know her. I don't know you, Amanda Miller. How did you? Why are you supporting us? I don't know you.
You're safe from the witch trials because we never even heard of her. And maybe that's the problem. And maybe that's what makes her a witch.
Wait, maybe I did hear of her, but she witched me. She's a witch. She's a witch. And then the second person we've got is Daniel Reardon.
Daniel Reardon, are you related to him?
Yeah.
From the Daniel clan. It's you, him, and Richard Reardon. The three of you are related.
That's what I was thinking. Is this Richard Reardon's son or something? I guess it would be like his grandson at this point. Well, I don't know. Maybe. Hey, guess what?
Maybe.
2026, old people listen to LA Meekly too, okay?
Hey, 2026, guess what? Maybe.
Year of maybe. But it also could be Rick Riordan, author of the Percy Jackson and the Olympian. It could be his son.
It could be his son.
Yeah. So whose son are you? Are you Richard Riordan's son or Rick Riordan's son? Yeah, but it has to be Richard. Your dad must be Richard.
Yeah.
But which Richard Riordan?
Which Richard?
Yeah.
Which Richard?
Which
Richard is it?
Wait, which? Richard? Amanda Miller strikes again.
Another one.
Another one bites the dust. Wait a minute. So
dust biting, that's a sign of being a witch.
If she bites the dust, she shall perish. But if she perishes by dust, she was innocent. So if you want to support us and be accused of witchcraft, you too can join our Patreon, patreon.com/LA Meekly. Both these people who supported us, but there were two,
Yeah.
Two people.
Two people, one, two.
Didn't hear yet. 1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2.
They're both getting stickers just for joining, which you will all get for joining at any level, official LA Meekly stickers. But since they're at the $5 level, they're getting handwritten postcards from us from a different place in LA every single month.
And I mean, I don't know. Some people just don't know how to really make Patreon work for them. So if you just tell us a list of everybody who's a witch in your neighborhood, we'll send you a sticker.
Yeah. A Scarlet A that you can, although I guess that wasn't.
That's the difference.
It was A for witch, right?
Honestly, there are times where I'm like, the Crucible, that's where has sex with the
warlocks.
Priests. Yeah, the warlocks, right?
I mean, it was all a metaphor. I mean, the whole witch trials was just a metaphor for whatever the Scarlet Letter was a metaphor for, right? Hating women.
Hating women.
It was just
exactly.
Everything about hating women.
Yeah. What's the incredibly on the nose names of the Chillingsworth is the old husband.
In real life or in the Scarlet Letter?
In the Scarlet Letter.
I don't remember.
The priest's name or the pastor's name, whatever. I don't know, whatever. It's like Goody Gumdrops or something.
Pastor always do the right thing. Is that what you're talking about?
That's exactly who I mean, yeah.
Well, look, before we get into March,
the
actual episode, let's talk about something we did in February, the love month, Greg, the shortest month of the year.
It is the shortest month. So we have to make sure to send those postcards extra early.
I know. And we're already too late. I just forgot.
Sorry, the next month.
Yeah, the deadline just passed, and they're not going to make it. Well, do you want to hear what I did?
I would love to hear what you did. I bet it's.
Yeah, take a guess. Take one guess. Take one well-educated guess.
I'm going to say, where did you drop all that money for food this time? Was it a market, or was it an outdoor market, or was it a restaurant?
You know what? You don't know me at all.
Whoa. Okay.
It was an indoor market.
I'll have you know.
And actually, it's a double whammy. So you only half kind of know me. Okay. This is a double whammy of what you've got to do.
I'm doing an expression.
If you're next time you're in Valley Plaza, if you're at Laurel Canyon and Sherman Way, that's where we're talking about.
Laurel Canyon, Sherman Way.
Laurel Cameron.
Yeah.
And Sherman's Way. First, before you go to where the food is, you want to go somewhere that's in the same parking lot as the food first.
Okay.
So you're going to have food. So you want to, after you get the food, you're going to want to go home.
Yes.
So you're going to want to go to Game Dude, Greg.
Game Dude.
Have you heard of Game Dude? It's been there forever.
No, I heard about Puzzle Bro, but I haven't heard about Game Dude.
You know the comic book guy.
Tell me about Game Dude.
Game Dude, it's basically like Amoeba Records, but for used video games.
Oh, okay.
So they've got like everything. They've got like original Nintendo, all PlayStations. They've got all Nintendo thing. I already said Nintendo.
You did,
but things other than original Nintendo.
Yeah.
Xbox, like they've got everything. Some of the stuff is kind of pricey, but it's stuff you're not going to find.
Yeah.
But they've got a ton of things. I've always wanted to go there, and I finally went there, and it really does feel like you're in Amoeba Records, but like you can't touch anything. Like everything's behind glass.
Oh, really?
They don't want you touching it.
You can't sift through video games.
Yeah, I can't make as I'm looking through Super NES cartridges. But they do also have a big wall of movies and DVDs and Blu-ray and maybe VHS.
Maybe I'm there.
Maybe I'm there. You'll definitely want to go there after you hear the second part of this.
Okay.
You're still in that parking lot. You're going to want to move your car. It's a little bit, it's not a far walk, but they'll probably tow you.
Uh-huh.
And if you're shopping at Game Dude, you probably don't like walking very much. So you'll get back in your car, drive through the parking lot, around a corner, which is still the same parking lot.
Same parking lot.
You're going to go to a place called Epicurious Gourmet, Greg.
Epicurious
Gourmet. It's a weird little food market that's basically in like a warehouse kind of.
Okay.
And it's a bunch of like hard to find food from all around the world. It's all just like they had a whole alcove of tinned fish.
Whoa, I love tinned fish.
I love tinned fish.
I'm a big tinned fish guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
From way back.
Yeah, I like their first album. But I also like when they're in olive oil. I like that too. But they had chocolate bars from like a dozen different countries. Whoa. It's kind of like some of the stuff is pricey. Tariffs, am I right? They're illegal now, but they're still here. They're illegal now. I'm going to double them. But
they're illegal now. We're still going to do them, but they're illegal now.
But they're illegal and no one will stop me. But yeah, they had so many chocolate bars from so many different, like it was literally like a whole wall of chocolate bars.
Really?
But they've got a lot of really good stuff.
I think Candy is Dandy's going to get very exciting soon.
I think that we're going to start trying tinned fish.
You're threatening me with a good time. I'm going to pull the fish bone.
Full fish skeleton out
of my mouth like that.
We're rebranding the show to I wish I had some tinned fish. But yeah, that's a cool, like, because I went to the Epicurious Gourmet to get Melissa, for her Valentine's Day, I get her a different box of exotic cookies each year. I mean,
and how much do you let her have?
I mean, erotic cookies. Yeah, she gets what after I throw up from eating too many, she gets to finish what's left. But like I went there.
But you have to be throwing up.
I have to be throwing up.
She won't eat some when you feel like you're going to throw up.
It's Valentine's Day. I have to be throwing up.
I throw up in a heart shape for her.
It's red.
It's red, isn't it? From all the chili I eat.
But I went there and I didn't want to tip my hat of where I got it. So I was like, I can't wait till I give what I'm going to give to you because I want to tell you about this place because the store was so cool. Okay. So you should go.
Okay. I will go. And I'm going to go to Game Dude too.
Yeah.
Tude.
Yeah. I'm going to go to Game Dude. Now, what'd you do?
Yeah. My dilemma in life. I don't know what.
Should I stay or should I go?
Should I stay or should I go? What's stronger, Armenian coffee or Vietnamese coffee? They both claim to be the strongest coffee out there.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some other contenders.
I'd say Yemeni coffy. Or Turkish coffee.
Oh, really? You're going to bring up Turkish coffee when I already bring up Armenian coffee? You know what that called?
No.
Bad news. I take it back. Yeah, I'm always trying to find what the strongest coffee is. And for a long time, I've been looking for Vietnamese coffee grounds. And I couldn't find it because I can't have the condensed milk. So
it's really sweet.
It's really sweet, yeah. So I can't really have that. So I just want the grounds. I want what makes it caffeinated. And for a long time, I couldn't find it. And finally, one day, I wised up and I Googled, where in LA is there a Vietnamese market? And they're like, well, there's Little Saigon and Westminster, which is all the way down there.
Where's Westminster?
It's like by Disneyland.
That's Orange County.
It's Orange County, yeah.
Oh, you're not talking about Orange County.
I'm not going to go to Orange County.
Good.
I'm never going to go to Orange County.
I almost cut the mics.
But in Canoga Park, on Sherman Way, just past
Wait a minute. Okay.
Just past DeSoto is a How Viet market.
Okay.
In a plaza across from a place called Corn and Crab, which made me laugh so much. And I was like in the store, like corn and crab. And I couldn't. Anyways, the How Viet market is a Vietnamese market in the valley. And it sells all kinds of stuff like jackfruit, like guava, like tin fish, like a lot of different Vietnamese foods. They have a fish market in the back, but they sell
just the beans.
They sell Vietnamese coffee there. So I bought that and I had some this morning and I had 2 cups. I took a nap afterwards.
That explains why you're glowing.
I've got the glow from the end of The Last Dragon.
I wouldn't know.
Fine, yeah.
I know Pete's Dragon. Are you Mickey Rooney? What are you trying to say?
About time. I had 2 cups of Vietnamese coffee and I took a nap afterwards. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
What did you get up to watch the USA hockey game or something?
I woke up to watch.
You woke up? That's why you supported Canada? You woke?
Oh, you woke up? By the way, Alyssa Liu from Oakland, good for you. She won the gold medal for figure skater. She was cool.
Chloe Kim's cool. She's from Torrance.
Also very cool. Yeah. Oh, she's from Torrance.
Yeah, and the Korean girl that beat her is from Korea, but she grew up or lives in Torrance also.
Really?
Yeah, or Palos Verdes or something.
Well, Torrance has got a lot going on for it.
Torrance has got a lot going on for it. And you know what? I bet they have some Vietnamese coffee as well.
You know what? I hadn't even considered that. And maybe we're going to go to Torrance today.
Go to Torrance. Yeah, there's, because when you said on Sherman Way in Vietnamese, I was thinking on Reseda, near Reseda and Sherman Way, that's where Vin Loy Tofu and this really good, I mean, if I'm going to throw out more Vietnamese
You're the guy who knows.
There's a really good banh mi place right next to Vin Loy. Yeah, there's a lot of good Vietnamese stuff on Sherman Way.
You know,
they don't have coffee.
Oh, well, then why would I go? I also went to Vegas this past month. Forgot. And we went to me and my cousin and her husband.
You were there during the Super Bowl and you lost it all, right?
And I lost it all. They shouldn't have put me on field. They shouldn't have thrown me a jersey. They should have known that I didn't know what I was doing.
Get in there.
Yeah, I asked where the soccer ball was, and they said, you don't. Just go.
You started chanting Rudy, but like as Bill Cosby talking to his daughter on the Cosby Show.
But we were having drinks at the Golden Tiki, which is a great tiki bar up there. And my cousin's husband, Nick, he had a couple and he was like, I'm going to go get banh mi. Because there's a banh mi place next door. And he came back and he was really sad, like, closed. It was supposed to be 24 hours, but it was closed. And you said banh mi. I'm like, I was owed a banh mi. He asked me if I wanted one. I said yes, and I never got it.
Get yourself to Sherman Way.
I got to go right now. Yep. So that's what I did this month. Was last night I bought coffee. And today I drank it.
Well, what I did last month was I looked at some video games. So pretty cool.
You buy any? No.
No.
My wife won't let me.
Yeah. She says I get violent. So now...
And I punched her so hard.
I threw her so far out the window that I could play whatever I want until she gets back.
Till she gets back up and I can hear her coming right now.
So look, let's get into this month's episode.
Yes.
Wait, what's that? Chirp, 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 chirp.
A little birdie told me.
A little birdie's coming out of the cold winter. The cold LA frost is thawing and birds are reappearing, and they've got an olive branch, and also they have sand in their pocket from Waterworld. They found terra firma. Spring is here.
I am so happy spring is here because I had to deal with 2 days of snow.
I'm in
snow country. 2 full days of snow.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I wish that this winter was more intense. There were like bouts of intensity, but I want like a more
buried.
I want to be buried in rain.
What the other states got this winter, where they were like, we don't know if we're going to make it
now as we're
speaking. I want a little bit of that.
What the American hockey team did to the Canadian, I want that to happen to me.
Yeah, to me.
What they did in heated rivalry, I want that to happen to me. So yeah, we're cleaning out the junk drawer.
It's about time.
Spring cleaning.
And there's a couple fat cats in there.
There's one fat cat in a drawer right now. He's not fat. Why'd you make me say that? I
you hate your son. You fat shame your son.
Phantom is sitting in a little drawer in a little box right now on the couch. He's asleep.
He's like Eddie Munster.
He's the Indian in the cupboard right now. Is that offensive? I don't know.
It's the name of a book.
I used to love that book.
Yeah, me too.
And the weird Canadian movie.
It was very goosebumpsy.
It was goosebumpsy, and it gave me goosebumps. But yeah, anyway, it became some sort of a annual tradition that we did these junk drawer episodes. I think this is the 4th one, where we just topics that didn't fit into other episodes because there wasn't enough time, or just didn't fit into any episode theme wise. Now this is our chance to just let it all hang out.
Come on.
Just unload what we've been dying to talk about. Just unzip, sit down, and look at what's in the junk drawer.
Yeah. And it's a lot of junk.
It's a lot of junk.
It's a lot of...
I have got some junk in the trunk. There's a Lego or something.
A cable for a camera that I threw away years ago.
Corn and crab. So let's do my first one. I've got 2, you've got 1. And this is the start of my riddle.
Oh.
No, it's not. So my first one, get ready, Greg. It's time to take toxic masculinity to a new level.
Oh, boy.
It's time to talk about Robert S. James, a.k.a. the Rattlesnake Killer.
Bum, 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 bum. I don't like this guy.
Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, I know about it.
You know everything.
I don't know everything.
So you know everything.
Oh, here we go. I read in passing. I read a story in like a true crime thing about him.
I believe that LA Not So Confidential did an episode on him, which I'm sure. As I was doing the research for this, I was like, I can't get this part wrong because they're going to, Dr. Shiloh's going to call me out. I'm going to get a very angry text message from Dr. Shiloh.
On their show, I heard they interviewed the rattlesnake.
Did you do that?
And what do you think about the crimes that you committed? I
don't know. So, look, now it's time for my version of the events, not some doctor's version of the events. So I was trying to think of the best way to structure the telling of this story, but in the end, I realized that this story just gets crazier and crazier in a linear fashion. Okay. So that's the way I'm going to tell it. Okay. Because a lot of times I like to be, Sunset Boulevard. Yeah. Like, that's me floating there. Like, still, like,
I bet you're wondering how I got here.
It was just one of those days where I got murdered by an old movie star.
There are stories. I think about the Tippi Hedren with all the lions story of like, it gets better because it elevates so insanely.
Yeah. I was thinking like, should I start with the murder and then be like, how did it lead up to this? Or like, but when you hear about like just this guy's life, like I can't bury this secret until the end. Like his life starts crazy and it just keep pedal to the metal, Greg. You'd know that. You watch racing movies.
Yep.
So he was born Major Raymond Lisenba. That was his name. His first name was Major.
Oh, wow. I didn't even catch that.
Major Raymond Lisenba.
Weird.
Which is a sentence.
If he has a son, it's a minor.
Major Junior.
Yeah, Major Junior.
So he was born in Alabama in 1895. His dad was a sharecropper who abused him to the point that he ran away from home at the age of 9 and grew up to be a pretty dumb, puny young man that for whatever reason, women couldn't resist.
Wow. Okay. Describing me? Puny, yeah.
No, I only said pretty dumb. I would have said like unbelievably dumb if I was talking about you.
Clinically, terminally dumb.
Yeah. He got a medal for being dumb in the Olympics. I was watching that this morning.
New category.
He won gold, silver, and bronze for being dumb.
He won a gold over a dog who was chasing its own tail.
Did you see the dog that ran? He finished one of the ski marathons.
No,
like cross country skiers are going towards the finish line. They might have been a finish line because they were all from Finland, but there was a dog chasing them through the snow to the finish line.
That's funny. Incentive to go faster.
I know. And he had blood dripping off it.
It's got the taste of meat in him.
It's Cujo. So he got married for the first time in 1916 in Birmingham, Alabama.
Sure.
And it was a true Birmingham, Alabama wedding in that he was 20 years old and she was 16 years old.
Whoa, okay.
Alabama. Sweet home Alabama. That's what whenever the USA hockey team scored a goal, they played that song. And I was like, stop being so obvious that you're bad people.
All their uniforms are stained with barbecue sauce. That's how American they are.
They all waddled in, crushing Coors Light cans on their forehead, and they won.
Their skates are all bent metal.
Oh, wait, no. So go on.
Because they're so big. Well, go ahead.
It wasn't Sweet Home Alabama. It was Freebird, which it might as well be Sweet Home Alabama.
Slightly different, but yeah.
Yeah, same vibe.
Same.
But it was like the good, like, it was the solo for Freebird.
A guy who parties to Sweet Home Alabama every day. When he dies, the sad song is Freebird.
The beginning of Freebird.
Yeah, beginning
and
of
then
Freebird.
As he's being lowered down, when all of his friends already forgot about him and are partying, that's when the rest of it plays.
Yeah.
Anyway, lucky for her, this 16-year-old, he soon left to fight in World War I as a Marine, where he took the new name of Robert S. James. I don't know if it was like a Don Draper sort of thing, or is because having the first name Major
when
as
you're in the military
in the Marines was too confusing. Like, I don't know what the real reason was, but
what was I?
You can't be Private Major.
No, that's
isn't that a David Bowie song?
It might be, yeah.
But having the new name helped because after the war, he never returned to his child bride. So he was able to just disappear. He never went back to her.
Very mad.
And he ended up marrying a different woman in Kansas in 1921 while he was still legally married to his first wife. Eventually, he did end up getting legally divorced from the first wife, but after only a few months of marriage to the new lady, they were divorced. He said it was because she was putting glass and poison in his food.
Whoa.
She said it was because he cheated on her and got another woman pregnant and was also into sadistic sex, referring to him as a, quote, pervert.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you going to believe?
Who are you going to believe? He said, she said, he said something crazy that doesn't make sense. She said something that's true.
It's a totally plausible thing.
But that didn't stop him from marrying another woman named Winona Wallace in Fargo in 1932. Okay. Fargo, North Dakota? North Dakota.
I think so.
Fargo, Minnesota.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fargo, the movie that takes place mostly in Minnesota. So now he was at the halfway point in his marrying career. By the way, he made all of his wives call him daddy.
Oh.
So keep that in mind.
Was that his middle name? Major Daddy?
Major Daddy. Major Daddy Big Boy was his full name. When something very interesting happened to him, so he's halfway through his married career, something interesting happens. His uncle dies. Oh no. So sad. But for some reason, this uncle named Robert, this guy, formerly Major, he named Robert as the beneficiary of his life insurance policy.
Whoa.
And suddenly, old Robert James was $4,000 richer. He decided to take this money and make a career for himself. He was going to enroll in barber school.
Okay.
And where is famously the capital of barbering in America? Los Angeles.
Barbering and laundromats.
And weed stores. So in 1932, Robert James moved to LA with his wife, Winona, and also his 17-year-old niece, his sister's daughter, Lois Wright, to help her fulfill her dream of becoming a movie star. They're going to LA. You come with us.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, Robert got a notion from the whole inheritance from his uncle that many a man with many a name before him and after him have gotten. What if there was a way to make inheriting life insurance policies your primary source of income?
Hi, my name is H.H. Holmes, and I got a crazy idea.
I wrote the book on it in other people's skin. And he didn't really. He wasn't that gross.
Wasn't that guy, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't that gross. He was a pretty good guy. Well, Robert, there is one way to make this career happen. He figured, I can make my wife take out an insurance policy, and then if I kill her, I get paid for that insurance policy.
Pretty foolproof plan.
It later came into question whether or not he got this idea from the death of his uncle or if he caused the death of his uncle under this scheme. But wherever the idea came from, that was now his plan.
Okay.
So he got Winona to take out a life insurance policy and then proposed a road trip to Pikes Peak in Colorado.
I can't even put into words how funny it is.
It's like if you don't know his plan, it's like, oh, that sounds nice. But to pick
Stepping back.
Let's go on the top of a mountain while I try to kill you.
We're going to a knife factory.
The Acme Knife Factory, to be precise. So they were driving up the mountain when somehow they lost control of the car and it drove off an embankment. Winona was nearly dead, but miraculously, Robert walked away from this accident unharmed, completely unharmed.
It was strange.
He claimed that when the car flew off the embankment, he was tossed clear out of the car to safety while his wife plummeted. Equally miraculous, Winona did not die. She was taken to a hospital and slowly started to recover, but with no memory of the accident. Later analysis of this incident seems to indicate that what actually happened was Robert hit her in the head with a hammer and then sent her in the car flying off of a cliff. Lucky for Robert, unlucky for Winona, a few days after she was released from the hospital, she mysteriously drowned to death in a bathtub.
Pretty strange.
We don't know for sure.
These things happen.
These happen. Who hasn't drowned to death in a bathtub? We don't know for sure, but it's heavily suspected, especially after what we know what was about to happen, that he decided to finish off the job and he drowned her. Shortly after her death, Robert wrote to the coroner asking him to change the cause of her death on the death certificate from drowning to head injury from the car crash. Why would he do this? So he could collect double indemnity on her life insurance plan. The coroner did, and Robert was now $14,000 richer. So suddenly this plan's working out great.
We can laugh at it. It worked maybe twice.
How many wives have you killed? How many of your get
What's your expertise in this matter?
How many times have you accidentally drowned in a bathtub? Once? No, you did fall in a bathtub once.
Yeah, I fell out of a shower and banged my head, and I was telling everybody every third thought is missing. Still went to work.
And now it's only every third thought is there. Just a year later, in 1934, his heart had healed enough from the tragic loss of his third wife to take on a fourth wife in New Orleans. This marriage was quickly annulled by Robert because this woman was afraid of going to the doctor, so she wouldn't get the physical she needed to take out a life insurance policy. So he left her.
Wow.
But Robert,
I can only be with the woman who goes to the doctor.
You know what? I'm so pro-science. I'm from Alabama. So you must go to the doctor. But Robert couldn't just get married every year as his main source of income. There had to be other ways of collecting life insurance policies. That's when his nephew came to visit.
Oh, no.
His sister's son.
Okay.
In 1930,
Sibling to the niece?
Sibling to the niece.
It's real neat that they did that.
Sorry, I've been watching so much Olympics. I picked up the Spanish accent. In 1935, his niece Lois's brother came to stay with them for a little bit in Los Angeles. Not too long. just long enough that clearly he needed a life insurance policy.
Oh my God. A visiting person.
A visiting person. So Robert got him to take out a life insurance policy. And a few weeks later, his nephew was dead in a car accident.
Oh my God.
It was all blamed on a defective steering wheel. But what was weird was that Robert was the beneficiary on the policy to the tune of $5,000. Even weirder was that the kid's mom, Robert's sister, got a letter in the mail that her son was dead a few weeks before he actually died.
The city is so ahead.
The USPS really used to be on top of things. They used to have precogs, budget cuts. But before long, it was time to get back to basics. It was time to fall back in love.
Mm-hmm. It's time. Enough time has passed.
And what better time than the spring of 1935? Hitler's taking power. Love is in the air. By this point, Robert had made enough money to open up his own barbershop at all of it, either 8th or 9th. I read both of them downtown. Okay. And one day, the 25-year-old Mary Bush walked in looking for a job as a manicurist. And for Robert, it was love at first life insurance policy. They quickly got together, even though he was 13 years older than her, and moved into a place that they kept referring to as being in La Cañada, but it was on Verdugo Road, which, as far as I could tell, doesn't quite go into La Cañada, but more Montrose, but it was like that area.
Okay.
So like where the top part of the two, like somewhere around there. I couldn't find where exactly.
By Foothill.
By Foothill.
By Foothill.
By land or by Foothill. By land here or by Foothill. But just as quickly, Robert got Mary to take out a $10,000 life insurance policy. And on July 19th, they were legally married. And all this was within 3 months of meeting.
I now pronounce you man and life insurance policy.
You may now collect the fees. Just enough time for Robert to decide he had put in his time. Mm-hmm. Now it was time to collect on that life insurance policy. I did 3 months. It's time.
Where are you guys going on your honeymoon?
We're going to the edge of the Grand Canyon. But how to do it became the issue. How was he going to get away with this again? He had done the car accident thing twice, so he didn't want to risk playing that card one too many times. This one called for something new and completely untraceable.
Catapult.
I'm going to launch her into the Pacific Ocean. For whatever reason, most likely to have someone he could point the finger at and blame if he needed to, he decided to turn to a client of his at the barbershop named Charles Hope. Uh-huh. Hope was an ex-sailor, current night manager at a hot dog stand.
Cool guy.
Who was living the dream and constantly strapped for cash.
Okay.
Hope had been coming to see Robert for a few years at the barbershop at this point, so apparently he felt he could trust him enough to bring up an indecent proposal. Uh-huh. He told him that a friend who wanted to kill his wife would pay Hope $100 to help him out with it. Wow. Hope agreed, and apparently all pretense was dropped. He's like, I'm the friend. It's me. We are in. You're in on this with me. So now the two got down to brainstorming. How are they going to do this?
Yeah.
They thought of a few standard murder your wife methods, a fake holdup gone wrong, the Robert Blake special, which is delicious at Vitello's, burning down the house with her inside of it. Mm-hmm. Even they considered pricking her with a poison needle without her knowing.
Okay. These are all schemes meant for Fidel Castro.
I know. They were going to Valkyrie her.
Exploding cigar.
Again, from the Acme factory. But all of this, ho-hum, this has all been done. They wanted a method that they could never be caught red-handed with.
Okay.
They didn't want to be the ones to actually kill her. Mm-hmm. The idea they landed on, have an animal do it. Have an animal kill this
woman. You can't
woman.
Arrest an animal.
You can't.
An animal will never talk.
It's in their nature. Yeah, you'll never, unless it's a parrot.
Or a rat.
And they knew just the animal to do it. Black widows.
Okay.
Their reasoning was all you have to do is throw them in bed with her.
Yep.
And the spiders do the rest. Mm-hmm. The Peter Parker special.
It knows exactly what to do. It will not make a web.
They've been trained. Yeah. Don't just hide and make a web. Bite her. Unfortunately, black widows aren't as fatal as they thought they were.
Oh, cool.
A letter Mary sent from around this time said that she had a badly swollen leg from a bite that she got in her garden, but otherwise she was fine. So this didn't work. They needed something more venomous. That's when Robert remembered a visit he took to the Ocean Park Pier in Santa Monica with Mary, where they saw an exhibit on live rattlesnakes. That connected in his mind a story he knew about Cleopatra, who took her own life by getting a snake, a venomous snake, to bite her. Mm-hmm. And suddenly Robert knew just what to do. he needed to become Pharaoh. They needed to get their hands.
We got to go to Egypt.
We're going to Egypt. They needed to get their hands on what they kept referring to as hot rattlers.
Oh my God.
They kept saying, we got to get some I'm looking for hot rattlers.
That's my favorite strip club in Culver City. It's hot rattlers.
It used to be a Chippendale. So he gave Hope $20 and had him go down to the Ocean Park Pier and talk to Mike Allman, who owned the reptile gardens there, where he had seen the rattlesnakes, and offered to buy a couple of hot rattlers for him. He made the sale, but sadly, for the snakes, that is, one of them died shortly after the sale, and the other one lost its fangs.
What? It lost its fangs?
Its fangs fell out.
Is it sad or what? Like a molt? Did it molt? Snakes shed their teeth too.
They bit into an apple. It was like a whole Adam and Eve thing they were trying to do. So hot rattlers, these were not.
Yeah.
So on August 3rd, 1935, Hope went to a guy in El Monte named Joseph C. Hootenbrink, but he was more commonly known as Snake Joe.
Snake Joe.
Snake Joe ran a snake farm, and Hope walked in claiming he was there to settle a bet. He and a friend were arguing about who would win in a fight, a rattlesnake or a rabbit, which, come on.
I mean,
think of something more dangerous than a rabbit.
Like, a hungry rabbit.
Banicula in particular. He also has fangs.
Yeah, we brought
That's what you should have done. You want to kill your wife? Get Banicula on the top.
You know who's a real good at getting rid of other animals? You can bring Bugs Bunny in. Foe to all dangerous animals. And humans.
And one human in particular.
Human, yeah.
So he wanted to rent two of his hottest rattlers to test out their hypothesis and see who would win. And he made sure to tell him, I want the meanest thing you've got to make sure I win. So Snake Joe rented him two 6-year-old desert diamondback rattlesnakes named Lethal and Lightning.
Whoa.
That's what I call the old I'm punching right
That's
now.
what I call my right blinker, my left blinker. Lethal and left.
Merge and polite. And then came the next day. So he got these snakes. August 4th, 1935. At this point, Mary was pregnant.
Okay.
And Robert had convinced her to get an abortion. This is a trigger warning here. There's murder. Murder's coming. Murder's coming. A more graphic murder's coming.
Could he not figure out a life insurance policy that the kid could take out? Is that
H.H. Holmes is that double indemnity?
Yeah.
So this was not an easy thing to do at the time, get an abortion. But he said he knew a doctor in La Cañada who had come over to their house and perform the surgery on the table in their breakfast nook.
No thanks.
Yeah.
No thank you. That's where I eat. No thanks.
But he will demand an English muffin while he's doing it. But since this was illegal, she would have to cover her eyes so as to hide her identity from the dot in case he doesn't want to get her reported. He was just looking out for her. Robert then drugged her with pills and whiskey to make her pass out for the surgery and tied her down to the table in the breakfast nook with a blindfold on. And for good measure, he covered her mouth in tape. For good measure.
Yeah.
You don't need to breathe during an abortion. This was when Hope walked into this already hellish scene, holding a box containing 2 live rattlesnakes.
Oh my God.
So now Charles Hope, this other guy, walks in with a box of rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Robert then grabbed Mary's left leg and puts her foot in the box, and the rattlesnakes bite her.
Yeah.
They start biting her. They bite her 3 times.
Oof.
Now, all they had to do was wait for the poison to kick in and then handle the body. But Mary wasn't entirely asleep for this and was moaning in pain as the poison began to run through her body, which Hope couldn't take. So he went and waited outside in his car with the snakes. The snakes had to, they got a cigarette break. It was a union job.
You guys could have as much soda in the fridge as you want.
It was a union job of like a snake eating its own tail. It was a horrible union. And he kept waiting there for hours of Mary slowly dying a painful death by poisoning. Eventually, Robert couldn't take this either because he decided it was taking too long for her to die and he needed to resort to his old tricks and dragged her over to the bathtub and held her head underwater until she drowned. So the snakes in the end were for nothing.
Yeah.
He could have just drowned her.
I bet the snakes were like, you brought me over here for this?
He then went outside into Hope's car and said, well, that's it.
Oh my God.
The two then went back inside, dragged the body to the fish pond in the backyard, and threw her in face down. At sunup, Hope returned the 2 snakes to Snake Joe, saying he won the bet and figured his role in all this is over. I got my money. The snakes are gone. The lady's dead. I'm free and clear. Robert, on the other hand, needed to take care of his alibi. He went to a woman he was having an affair with, of which there were many, and told her that he would give her $1,000 if she would claim that she had seen Mary alive in her garden that morning, should he ever call on her to say so. This woman refused, to which he responded, I was only joking.
Oh my God. That's what. Okay. All right.
He then went.
Yeah, what a great joke, by the way.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like they laughed for like 40 minutes. She laughed so hard she almost needed a life insurance policy. He then went to work and spent the day there and invited two friends, James and Viola Pemberton, over for dinner that night with Mary. Come over to my house. My wife will make us dinner. The three drove to his house together to find all the lights out with the house completely empty. Robert urged the two friends to help him find his wife, so they searched everywhere until James discovered Mary's body floating in the fish pond in her red pajamas.
Totally cool to do to strangers, by the way.
Yeah. Help me find my dead. Do I know you? Can you drive me to the airport or help me find my dead wife? How well do I know you? The police were immediately called. And since Robert had been at the shop all day and had been with his two friends in the evening, he was immediately cleared as a suspect. And it was decided she must have slipped and fallen into the pond and drowned. But the coroner couldn't determine whether or not it was on accident or on purpose, so the matter was let lie.
Wow.
But Robert didn't kill his wife just for the thrill of it. He did it for the life insurance policy. He had actually taken out 2 life insurance policies on her worth $21,000.
Okay, that's
and
that's
a pretty good deal.
I would have done something.
And as soon as the ink was dry on that death certificate, he rushed over to collect his her life insurance
yes,
policy.
Thank you for putting it. Yeah.
But he hit a snag that he had never hit before. The companies didn't want to pay him.
Oh.
They claimed that they weren't valid because they had been taken out before the two were legally married.
Oh.
So Robert was in fact entitled to nothing.
Wow.
But Robert...
How am I going to pay those snakes? I made promises to snakes.
I've got 2 snakes breathing down my neck, hissing down my neck. But Robert, not content to just leave it be and be happy that he got away with murder, forced the issue. And that's when the whole house of cards came crumbling down, as it always does.
Yeah.
His insistence triggered an investigation by one of the insurance agents, and he uncovered something really interesting about Robert James. He had been married 4 times before, and this is weird. His third wife also drowned to death.
Ain't that weird?
This was extremely suspicious, so the insurance agent immediately called the cops, who immediately, and unknown to Robert, launched an investigation into Robert. Meanwhile, the guy from the reptile garden on the Ocean Park Pier got to talking with Snake Joe over in El Monte. Snake guys talk.
Yeah.
And they got forked tongues, something. They've got barbed tongues. I don't know. There's some expression about tongues.
Yeah.
And
We'll
snakes.
get to it later. We'll insert it here.
Yeah, well, insert snake saying here. Insert partial tongue portion of the show here. So they got to talking, and he mentioned some weirdo who came in looking for hot rattlers. Snake Joe said, "Oh, that's weird. I also had a guy come in looking for hot rattlers." This revelation was strange, but nothing to go to the police about. Meanwhile, Hope did not feel good about this whole thing.
It's weird because he jumped at the opportunity.
I know. Well, he got his $100. Now he spent it and he doesn't feel good. He bought a bunch of hot dogs from it, got hot dog on his own supply. So much so that he got drunk one night at a dive bar and he confessed to someone the entire story. This person was freaked out by what he heard. So he put Hope in touch with a lawyer who advised him to come clean to the cops immediately, which he did. He told them about Robert. He told them about the snakes. To confirm this story, the cops then exhumed Mary's corpse to re-examine it. And sure enough, they found something they didn't notice before, a discolored puncture wound on her left big toe. But they still needed enough proof to bring Robert down. After this whole incident, Robert and his niece Lois had moved into a house on South LaSalle Street. So knowing this, District Attorney Byrne Fitz sent agents from his office to rent the place next door, and for 2 weeks used hidden microphones and cameras to spy on Robert. And they found evidence, all right, just not evidence of what they were hoping for. This is when the story took such a weird left turn, which is why I wanted to go in order. And here's another trigger warning. There's some weird stuff that's about to happen. As it turns out, Robert was having a sexual relationship with his niece for the last 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Something that was not just disturbing, but also illegal.
Super illegal.
So on April 19th, 1936, they had heard enough and raided his house and arrested him, charged with 3 counts of incest with his niece.
Okay.
His response, well, what of it? It's all right with me. That was...
No one even asked me if I like it or not. Which I do.
Which I clearly
do.
But they still wanted to take this opportunity to get a confession out of him about killing Mary, so they interrogated him then and there, but he denied having anything to do with it and pointed the finger directly at Charles Hope. Mm-hmm. He said he did it. Robert was taken in, and inside the house, they found pamphlets for basically like Lonely Heart Arranged Marriage agencies that he had opened up a P.O. box under a fake name to reply to, and a list of almost 200 potential targets, all women who had said that they had money. They also found a book called How to Write Love Letters.
Okay.
And that he had taken out a life insurance policy on his niece.
Oh my God.
When Robert saw Hope in jail after they were both arrested, he told him, if you plead guilty, I'll break your neck. On May 6, 1937, they were arraigned and officially charged with first-degree murder, and Robert was given the extra charges of incest as well. When the news of the story broke, Snake Joe came forward and provided Lethal and Lightning as the true murderers. Lock them up. They keep slipping out of the cuffs.
Yeah. And a surprise witness.
Can we get Harry Potter in to translate? And investigators had their venom tested to try to match what they could still find in Mary's body. The trial officially began on June 22nd, 1937, with Hope going against Robert's wishes and pleading guilty, while Robert pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Mm-hmm. And the trial was a 3-ring circus. It sounded like.
Yeah.
Robert and Hope now hated each other, and for some reason, in court, they made them reenact the murder together, which ended up with them getting into a physical fight with each other. Like, there's pictures of them, like, they're like holding a guy's foot into a box. Like, they're trying to reenact the murder.
If you told me you put someone's foot in a box, it only means one thing.
I can't picture it.
Yeah.
I can't picture it.
Paint me a picture.
Then, when they brought out the snakes, Lethal and Lightning, Lethal got loose. And slithered under a bookcase, and everyone had to, like, clear the room.
Oh, my God. If he only took out life insurance policies for everybody in the room.
He's at it again. Then, as the evidence against him mounted, Robert's lawyer switched their strategy from trying to prove he wasn't guilty to saying none of it matters because the cops beat him during his interrogation. Which they were like, yeah, probably, but so what?
Yeah, it's the 30s.
It's the 30s.
Yeah.
And forever. Also in the audience was Peter Lorre, who wanted to study Robert to see how a true killer looked.
Cool.
So he wanted to embody Robert for whatever role he did after this. On July 25th, the jury came to its verdict. Hope was found guilty and sentenced to life at San Quentin.
Okay.
For Robert, it only took them 25 minutes to decide. He was sentenced to 150 years in prison for incest, to which his response was, let it ride. My business and reputation are ruined now anyway.
That's what someone who commits incest says.
That's the trademark phrase of an incester. For the murder itself, he was sentenced to death by hanging.
Okay.
When he heard the verdict, his response was, I can take it.
Let it ride, baby. And we're also going to hang you too. What? I can take it.
Let me ride? Sock it to me? When his sister, Lois's mom, was asked if she was happy to have her brother be hanged, her response was that she just wanted to see justice done.
Okay.
So
good answer.
She was, after what this guy did to her son and daughter, yeah.
I'm with her.
In prison, Robert gained a lot of weight and became obsessed with the Bible and led a Bible class and started being called Holy Joe. I don't know why. His name, maybe he changed his name to Joe, Major Joe, Saint Joe. He changed his name to. He tried to get parole and have his conviction appealed many, many times, even having it go so far as the Supreme Court, who chose to uphold his sentence. They're always right about everything, by the way. When he was denied his final parole hearing, he said, I can take it. Let's just say Rattlesnake Bob James is not afraid to die.
Oh my God.
But he should have been. May 1st, 1942 was the big day. What's especially notable about this whole thing is that after Robert was sentenced to be hanged, California switched the method of execution to the gas chamber.
Okay.
But since that was what he was charged with, they had to hang him rather than use the gas changer. Something that not even the warden nor the executioner want, like they didn't want to hang him. They're like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Like, let's use the gas chamber. It's a little bit better, I guess. Not just because it was cruel, but because by 1942, they hadn't hanged anybody in 3 years. And they were out of practice on how to hang somebody. Because of that, at 10 a.m. that day, Robert was marched up the gallows and the lever was pulled, but they set it up all wrong. His neck didn't snap immediately like it should have, and he was left slowly choking to death for 15 full minutes, bleeding and releasing his bowels. And so ended the story of the 214th and final person ever to be hanged in the state of California. Wow. By the state of California, I should say. That's the story of the last person to be hanged by the state.
Deserved it.
Definitely deserved it. But what a
ride.
What a ride. What a gruesome way to go. When I was reading, I was like, oh God, he killed his wife. Oh God, he's sleeping with his 17-year-old niece.
There's a lot of elevation there.
It was a disturbing story.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Rattlesnake Killer.
Oh boy. I knew like a headline about it, maybe like a paragraph, but you went into a lot of details that I didn't know.
That I
like
didn't
the
want to
bowels
hear.
thing.
Nobody said anything about the bowels. Now, what else is in this drawer? This junky drawer.
Last episode I covered Gloria Arianas and the Chicana movement that she started with the Aztlan.
The Daughters of Aztlan. Something like that. I don't know. I don't listen to this show.
And I was looking for another story and I knew it, but I couldn't figure out where I had heard of it. And I needed to know this person's name and I couldn't figure it. Just like a junk drawer. You're looking and you're rifling around, but sometimes it's all the way in the back.
And it pricks your finger.
And you're like, do I have tetanus? Did a rattlesnake live in here?
Is this another rattlesnake story I'm thinking about?
So I'm going to be covering the story of a musician, a radio personality, and an activist named Pedro Gonzalez.
Pedro Gonzalez, your cousin, I assume.
I actually always have to... this isn't the first time I read the story, but my grandma would always talk about, we had like someone in our family who'd play guitar on the radio. I'm like, is this him? But that's the wrong side of the family.
This is the West Side Gonzalez's. Who played guitar on the radio?
I was never able to figure it out.
Oh my God. Is it Johnny Cash?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it was Dr. Demento.
He was a great man.
Saint Demento, excuse me.
Santo Demento.
So Pedro was born in 1895 in a town in Chihuahua, Mexico. In either 1909 or 1910, at the age of 14, Pedro took a job as a telegraph operator with a Mexican National Railroads Company.
Okay. By the way, I have no idea what this story is. Where this is going to go.
There's actually a couple cross sections with your story. Did
he ever have a rattlesnake?
Oh, he has a rattlesnake.
Oh no, is he lethal or lightning?
He's friendly. The third brother. He's like there's the three uncles and Casper. He's Casper.
He's the one who lost the teeth.
Now, I don't know if you remember from last episode what happens in Mexico in 1910.
It stays in Mexico.
Let's say the telegram business is about to get pretty busy because the Mexican Revolution kicked off in November of that year.
Revolution has begun. Stop. It won't stop.
Stop. Oh, it stopped. Okay, good. What? It stopped. That's a double negative. And while working as a telegraph operator during the Mexican Revolution, Pedro was sending messages about the rebels to the Mexican government when he was discovered by none other than Pancho Villa, leader of the rebel army.
Wait a minute. So he was a bad guy.
He was a 14-year-old helping his own government, not realizing like, oh, actually,
he's a bad guy, Greg.
The way that Luke wanted to join the Empire. It's a job. They're paying. Do the rebels pay?
I've always seen Luke as a bad guy, okay? Did he want to join the Empire? You want to go to the academy? Yeah. I guess that would be. Yeah.
There's no rebel academy.
No. Oh my God. Yeah. That's kind of sick.
Yeah. Well, it's paid. He didn't know better. But then what happened to Emperor Uncle Owen? Now he's like, you know what?
I like it even more. If I had BACTA insurance, this would never have happened.
This is the last blue milk I ever have to drink. And so famous line from Star Wars.
He spits. Yeah. It's a cut scene. It's a special edition scene. This is the last time I'm ever going to drink blue milk.
Because in Star Wars they have regular milk. The blue milk is
it's their equivalent of broccoli.
Now he gets discovered by Pancho Villa sending telegraphs to the Mexican government about where the rebels are. So Villa held Pedro at gunpoint and gave this 15-year-old two options. Continue working as a telegraph operator, but exclusively for the Division del Norte, which is the rebels group, or we kill you. And after a long personal introspection, Gonzalez decided it was probably for his best interest of his country to serve Pancho Villa and the rebel army. So
you'll have to kill me. I love sending telegrams to Mexico City.
This is my passion. So after 6 years of serving the rebels, Pedro followed the Division del Norte into the U.S. to raid an army garrison for supplies.
Wow.
But that raid turned into a full-scale battle when the predicted amount of opposition went from 50 to 350 Americans. Thus, the Battle of Columbus in 1916 took place 3 miles north of the border in New Mexico. They, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what kind of person you are.
Which team you were rooting for this morning.
Fortunately or unfortunately, the Americans whooped Villa and the rebel army, who had to retreat back to Mexico. The rebels sustained a heavy loss. 183 men were either wounded or killed in that skirmish, and it put Pancho Villa on the U.S.'s radar. Now the U.S. Army wants to also attack Pancho Villa.
Bring me the head of Pancho Villa.
Exactly.
Wait, is that the guy who they want the head of? Bring me the head of... Who's the head? Whose head do they want?
Alfredo Garcia.
Alfredo Garcia.
That's Sam Peckinpah movie. I don't know if that's okay.
No, it's a true story.
Pedro himself was wounded in that skirmish and fled back to Mexico with Pancho's army, knowing full well it was time to leave the rebel army. I've been shot. I think I've had enough. I just bought my way out.
It's a lot more getting shot at than the Mexican side.
But that decision came too late, as upon returning to Mexico, he was captured by the soldiers of the Mexican army.
Okay.
Pedro Gonzalez
This is why you don't play both sides. You make an enemy of everybody.
And they're reading all the telegraphs. They know where you are.
This is just like when I used to play Skyrim and I joined the vampire hunters and then thought it might be kind of cool to be a vampire. And then both groups wanted to kill me wherever I was.
You can't play both sides. You're not a Dashiell Hammett character.
I'm not Blade. I never professed to be Blade.
I'm lethal.
And I'm lightning.
Pedro Gonzalez was sentenced to death, and this story could be over now. It could just be a half a page story, but it's not, because once Pedro stood in front of a firing squad, a teacher at a nearby school watching his execution instructed her students, 10 schoolgirls, to run over and stand between soldiers and Pedro.
Whoa.
I know.
Do it yourself. Don't tell the little girls.
Also, do it yourself. Also, if you think like a bunch of men with guns are going to it's girls, we can't kill them. They're going to kill them. But this time, they didn't do as predicted. The soldiers did not gun down everyone, but instead allowed Pedro to go instead of, as I said, gunning down 10 innocent girls.
Okay.
A strange decision on their part, as usually they would have killed everybody. Yeah. It would have been 11 bodies. One of the girls, 14-year-old Maria Salcido, would go on to marry the 20-year-old Pedro Gonzalez. It was a different time. The two would move to sunny Los Angeles.
Was it Alabama or something?
The two would move to sunny Los Angeles in 1923 and settled in Wilmington, where Gonzalez found work as a longshoreman in San Pedro.
Okay.
It was on this job that he would spend his downtime playing his guitar and singing songs for his coworkers. That is true talent. Not saying he wasn't great at being a telegrapher, but his true talent would emerge as a songwriter and a singer. His pals encouraged him to find a way to put himself on the radio. So from there, he scored an audition, but sadly got rejected because Pedro sang in Spanish and it's like the 20s Los Angeles, and we're kind of not going to do that.
Well, your uncle or whatever did.
Yeah, I think he did it in Mexico though.
Oh, okay.
They speak Spanish in Mexico. While the station owner did not allow Pedro to sing songs, they did need someone to read ads in Spanish during the dead hours, late nights and early mornings. They needed someone to speak Spanish then.
He was like the what's the alien guy at night? What's his name on the radio?
Oh boy,
we never remember his name. Alfredo Garcia.
Yeah, what is his name? Don Pardo. No, oh my God, Bell.
Art Bell.
Art Bell.
Yeah.
Art Bell. Thank you.
Not Art LeBeau. Art LeBeau.
Or Boo. Yeah, thank you. Reading out ad copy allowed Pedro to get comfortable with the companies and how sponsorship operated, and soon he was able to collect sponsors and start a show of his own.
This guy is your ancestor. He started a podcast. He was Mexican.
His last name was Gonzalez. That's three things. Gonzalez.
What more do you need? 3 strikes, you're in.
He's seen a guitar before. He got shot. So he was going to start his own show. Now he learns how he knows that if you have ads from companies, you have money to start on a show.
Don't I know it?
So he and the dead hours.
This episode brought to you by Ice.
So he starts his own radio station. His own radio show in Los Angeles. One of the first ones ever. One of the first Spanish radio shows in Los Angeles. He starts it in the dead hours of the night. The show would air from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., which was perfect for the farm workers and other migrant workers who would wake up pre-dawn and have to go to work. They're waking up to listen to a Spanish radio while they're getting work and going to Spanish.
Good. Buenos dias, Los Angeles.
He also worked with other stations like KMT. Did I say what station it was? He worked with stations KMTR, KFBD, and KEWL. Pedro was.
I missed the days when there were so many radio stations.
I know. Me too.
Not that I was alive. I mean, we were kind of alive.
Yeah, sure.
At the tail end.
When it was fun. Yeah. This was 1929. He continued to sing and record songs in Spanish with his band Las Madrugadores, or the Early Risers.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that's a good name. They recorded and released songs with Maya, Decca, Bluebird, OKEH, okay, and Columbia Records, who themselves released Los Madrugadores' biggest hit, the ballad Senora Querida. I have a note here to let you play the song now, but I never sent it to you.
I'll just make it up. I think I can get it in one try.
Pedro and his radio show. Sadly, it starts the same way. Pedro and his radio show gained huge popularity in the Spanish-speaking Southwest just at the dawn of the 1930s. Entire Southwest, California, New Mexico, Arizona.
That's a big
swath. That's a big area. That's a big whoosh, right there. Big curve. The Great Depression would.
And Pancho Villa's listening. Wait a minute.
I'm glad he made it. He's sitting with his bandolier. The Great Depression would eat through the nation's good spirits, and to appease the American working man, as we talked about in the podcast before, in the 1930s, there was the Mexican Repatriation Act that was initiated. Right. For those who don't remember or don't know, through the 1930s, it was a mass deportation of Mexicans in California.
That would never happen again.
It would never happen again, where they would deport not only Mexicans working in America, they'd also deport American citizens who were Mexican American.
Unheard of.
And at least that never happened again.
An unrepeatable mistake.
Yeah. Families were raided and forced out. Lives were abandoned. People separated. It was an ugly act that I was alluding to, now repeated by ICE. Pedro Gonzalez would use his powers in broadcasting.
What?
This is the first I've heard of it.
Sorry, I've been off Reddit during the Olympics. What? I mean, there was a lot of ice at the Olympics. You're saying that
frozen water?
Skating on frozen water is bad now? What?
To my fridge, to my freezer. Get out of here. I'm putting it in the microwave. Pedro Gonzalez would use his powers in broadcasting to help out. He would document the conditions that Mexican immigrants and Mexican American citizens were going through. He would use his voice to denounce the American government for the abuse that they were putting people through during the Repatriation Act. And by doing this, he became a household name. He became a folk hero. Singing
all over the Southwest, or
I only read about Los Angeles, but anyone listen to him, I'm sure is a hero to them. A singing radio personality who once fought alongside Pancho Villa was now helping his people through a viciously racist crisis. He was a Robin Hood type. Mm-hmm. And by the way, deporting 60,000 Latinos did not help the American workforce get back on their feet. It was World War II that helped everybody out. Another bad thing, but whatever.
Coincidence, though, Greg? Did we start World War II by deporting Mexican people?
Did we not spark the fire?
We didn't spark the fire. Is that his song?
Yeah, actually, it's that. And it was ahead of its time. But in Los Angeles of the 30s and also every other decade, if you stood up for the tired, hungry, or poor huddled masses, you were going to make enemies. And those enemies were the architects of the city. There's a story that over the radio, Pedro let his listeners know that there was a plot of land in downtown that needed to be cleared out. And answering his call, hundreds of Latinos rolled up to the plot of land with tools in downtown ready to help out, a call to action. And when the police saw Latinos gathering up their tools, they did what cops do and started hauling them away in paddy wagons.
Wait, why did he want them to clear it out? Just to make it look nicer?
Guys, we need help with this thing. Okay. I don't know if it had a purpose. I just think that there was a plot of land that either it's looked bad or we were going to use it for something, but we need help, and they helped out.
It's and like that episode of Hey Arnold where they make a stickball field.
Exactly. Except the cops arrest all the Hey Arnold and his friends. One friend in particular.
Now you're putting it into terms I can understand.
I get this whole story now. And then Gonzalez would go on the radio and call the police and the city officials out. They'd call them racist, and then they threatened to take his license away. Time is a flat circle. They couldn't take his license away.
It's a buñuelo. Time is a buñuelo, Greg.
But one of the loudest enemies of Pedro was LA District Attorney Burren Fitz, who just helped put away the Rattlesnake Killer, or would go on to, it was the mid-30s.
Burn Fitz, we've talked about. I know we've talked about him before. Where have we talked about Burn Fitz?
I think I know that he was in gambling. He was he could a vice guy. You can pay him off. I just don't remember what specific stories there were. But I know that if we ever talked about the City Hall gang, Burn Fitz fitted to that.
He's one of the bad guys.
He's one of the bad guys.
Hey, he brought down incest. He ended incest in Los Angeles.
Oh, forever. Well, Burton Fitz
kept it for himself.
Burton Fitz was running for re-election and needed to win over the Mexican voters. So he would run ads on the radio. And after one of the ads he ran on the radio, Pedro called Burton Fitz out for his hypocrisy. Fitz was out here assuring white voters he would deal with the Mexican population and then going on Mexican radio and being like, I'm here to help you out. So Pedro Gonzalez wouldn't have it. And this sent DA Fitz into a fury. A fit, some would say. So much so that a scheme was born. So I made this one-to-one comparison. I don't know if this was at all addressed anywhere, but Fitz was district attorney when Fatty Arbuckle rape trial had started in 1921, and he saw how that scandal had ravaged Arbuckle's career. And Arbuckle was innocent. He was acquitted, but the public still turned on him. Fitz wondered...
Cancel culture.
But Burr and Fitz wondered how to bottle and sell the demise of a rival.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture is how you do it. Now, there's some trigger warning. There's some accusations of sexual assault coming up. So if you don't like that, skip ahead. 1933.
Go back to my story about incest.
Quite suddenly, Pedro was arrested after a 15-year-old girl named Dora Versus accused Pedro of raping her. Pedro proclaimed his innocence. There was no evidence at all, but the trial went forward anyways. He refused to take the plea deal because he would have to admit to a crime he didn't commit. But nevertheless, he was found guilty based on the accusation. I think the jury was all white people, by the way. Found guilty based on the accusation, and in 1934 was sentenced to 50 years in San Quentin prison.
50 years.
50 years.
Wow.
50.
He was probably in there with
I
Holy
thought the
Joe.
same thing. I was like, oh, no. But this wouldn't be the end of Pedro's story. If anything, once situated within the walls of the prison, his activism became more pronounced. He organized hunger strikes to protest the poor conditions. One strike where Gonzalez and around 10,000 inmates alongside him, they protested. And this would be the first significant protest in San Quentin's history. The protest was successful and it led to a prison reform. He led this. Because of the acts of defiance like this, he was regularly abused by the guards. He was put in solitary confinement for weeks at a time. He was once dunked in the prison sewer tank just to like get him to stop doing all this. But he kept going. He kept helping his fellow inmates. He kept trying to keep spirits up. 6 years into his 50-year sentence, the young woman who accused him of assaulting her recanted her story, saying she was pressured into accusing Pedro Gonzalez of the crime. And I did not read anywhere if she said who pressured her into saying it, but she was pressured into the story. It was now clear to everyone who suspected that Pedro was targeted by people in power and was silenced. They were willing to put an innocent man in prison for 50 years for standing against the racist policies of the city. They were willing to do that. And a fight was still ahead to gain his freedom. When the judge was presented with Dora versus affidavit saying that she had lied, he refused to accept it. So I don't know why, but probably most likely racism. So now it was up to Pedro's wife, Maria, to once again save her husband's life. As a young girl, she stood in front of a firing squad to protect him. And now she had to holler so loud the whole city would hear. She organized a campaign to free him. She spread the word of his innocence and continued wrongful imprisonment. She helped build programs, these different groups that were going to fight for his innocence or fight for his freedom. The word eventually landed in the lap of 2 Mexican presidents. And that was what finally worked, and the right amount of pressure from these 2 Mexican presidents. Now an international incident was enough to get him free because they were afraid that I don't know who the 2 presidents were. I looked into it and I couldn't, every article was the same 2 articles written over and over.
I thought you were saying that they were, so these are presidents of Mexico.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like, we never had a Mexican president in the United States.
Oh, you didn't hear?
Franklin Delano Rodriguez, FDR.
FDR, yeah. Because they didn't want, the people who enacted all this did not want anyone looking into the case any further. They just were like, okay, we're going to release him. So Pedro was released from prison from San Quentin in 1940. Unfortunately, though, even his freedom for unjust imprisonment came with an asterisk. He would be freed from San Quentin, but he would not return to his home in Los Angeles. He would, upon release, be deported to Mexico. So he and Maria both agreed to these terms, and they would return to Mexico while their 5 kids would stay in the States. I wish I knew more about that arrangement. I don't know who raised them. I don't know if they had family here.
That's your dad.
This is the big reveal. On his way from San Quentin to Mexico, there was a stop at Union Station where he was met with a crowd of thousands of supporters who were there to give him a send-off to a genuine hero.
And he took the train to Mexico?
Yeah.
I guess you could take it to San Diego.
You could take it.
Can you get to Mexico from Santa Barbara? So like a portal?
Yeah, you have to kind of backtrack a lot, though. Pedro and Maria settled in Tijuana, and Pedro was essential in the development of radio broadcasting in Tijuana.
Oh, you could still reach Los Angeles.
You sure can. You sure can. And you just turn the radio up right now. He formed a new lineup for his band and would broadcast every day. His activism was also continued. He fought for the rights of veterans of the Mexican Revolution, helping to set up national organizations that would eventually get the veterans land grants and pensions. And once again, he was making enemies of local politicians in Tijuana. In 1973, Pedro and Maria were allowed to come back to the United States as citizens again.
What year?
1973.
Okay.
He was able to return and live in California. He lived in Lodi until he died at the age of 99. 99. He passing away in 1995.
Wow.
Yeah. Made it pretty far.
We could have met this guy.
We could have met
someone who was held at gunpoint by Pancho Villa. That's a weird thought.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird thought. And that's Pedro Gonzalez's story.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And That's the power of broadcasting.
Putting your voice out there.
We're kind of like that, right? We're kind of like that, kinda.
Robert Peterson is our Pancho Villa.
Because we were working for the Los Angeles government when he first discovered us, and he had to switch sides.
Yeah,
interesting. So that could have fit into last month's episode that you didn't have. Didn't have time for.
They didn't have time for it.
Didn't have time for this guy.
I don't have time to research all the time.
I don't have time for this.
Come on.
I don't have time for this. But now we have one more item in this junk drawer.
We sure do. I don't want to hear about it.
This one, I'm excited to tell you.
Because I know nothing about this.
You know nothing about it. I bet
ignorant.
You're something of an ignoramus when it comes to this story.
Yeah.
I've been accused of being an armchair quarterback and even an armchair psychologist, but never a lawn chair Larry, which you... before we recorded saying, what is this Long Tall Sally's brother?
Yeah.
But now that I say Lawn Chair Larry, am I saying Lon Chaney? Lon Chaney
Larry clearly said Lawn Chair Larry.
Lon Chaney Larry. Lawn Chair.
Lawrence?
Lawn Chair of Arabia. Lawn Chair of Arabia is what I meant to say. So here comes a much lighter story than my last one and yours in every sense of the word. This is the story of a local legend with big dreams, Larry Walters.
Okay.
Lawrence Richard Walters, I guess both of my guys' names were Richard,
Weird.
Was born April 19th, 1949 in Los Angeles and grew up an LA guy, it seems, in North Hollywood.
You can't spell lawn chair and Larry without LA.
You can't spell Los Angeles without LA, what? And as a little valley boy, he occasionally went to Disneyland as a kid, as we do. It's our birthright.
Yeah.
During one of these visits, when he was 8 or 9, he saw a big bundle of Mickey Mouse balloons there.
Okay.
And from then on, he became obsessed with balloons and flight. Why? You didn't? When I saw one of those things that you squeeze and it lights up and spins around.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so into being whipped. That's my thing. That's what I got from Disneyland. What did you develop from Disneyland?
I gotta go to the Caribbean.
That's why I'm afraid of the Caribbean. Then at age 13, he went to a military surplus store and saw a bunch of old weather balloons and started wondering, how many of those would you need to fly?
Oh, dear God.
Do you know this story now?
No, I don't. I mean, is this an inspiration for Up? Because it sounded like it's going to be.
Very interesting. He decided, this is the story of Ed Asner. He changed his name to Ed Asner. He decided that when he grew up, he wanted to be a pilot. So he started preparing for that any way he could. He went to Hollywood High and did a science project called Hydrogen and Balloons. That got him a D. He got a D on this project. He would also make his own jet fuel at home.
Oh, cool.
And would occasionally explode. Not him, but the jet fuel.
Like a young
Jim Parsons.
Jim Parsons.
Is it Jim Parsons? No, not Jim Parsons.
It's
like a young Sheldon. Jack Parsons.
Jack Parsons. Thank you.
And then the Vietnam War hit and dreams were melted down into war crimes. He desperately wanted to be a pilot, so he applied to be one for the Air Force, but he was rejected because he had bad vision. So his dream was now dead. His dreams were dashed. He ended up being a cook for the Vietnam for the Viet Cong.
Yeah.
He became a cook for the army in Vietnam. He could make you the best coffee that you're looking for, Greg. Then life went on. And next thing he knew, he's 33 years old, living in North Hollywood, driving a truck for a TV commercial production company. We've all been there. It happens. Where did the time go? He would wonder. What happened? He didn't do anything that he set out to do.
Yes, it happens.
This is what was on his mind one day at a Holiday Inn in Victorville, when his thoughts returned to something he had always wanted to know since he was a kid. Could somebody fly up into the air attached to a bunch of balloons? This
man's greatest question.
Before we could speak, we were thinking this.
Stealing fire from the gods was a metaphor for this guy being like,
you know what? Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
What do you need to fly in a hot air balloon? Fire. This was when he finally decided, I wanted to know the answer to this since I was a little boy, and by God, I'm going to get my answer.
And by God, I'm that little boy.
I'm still a little boy mentally. So he went to the nearest McDonald's and he started making plans and drawing blueprints on the back of a McDonald's placemat.
Okay. Well, as one does.
As all great scientific discoveries are made. Leonardo da Vinci drew the Vitruvian Man on the back of a Carl's Jr. wrapper. So he was going to attach a bunch of weather balloons balloons to a chair and sit in it, and when it'll fly up into the sky.
Okay.
This is what his plan was. And he planned for quite a while and thoroughly until he finally got to the point that he felt he knew what he was doing and was ready to make it happen.
Okay.
He went to Sears and bought a lawn chair.
Uh-huh.
He bought 42 7-foot wide weather balloons from Army surplus stores.
Okay.
He attached these to the lawn chair, spaced out over 4 separate tiers held together by rope. He filled 13 plastic gallon jugs with water and tied them to the bottom of the chair for balance. No safety belt.
Whoa.
His craft was ready. And he called it inspiration.
Okay.
His fiance discouraged him from doing this.
She called it divorce.
Divine inspiration to leave you. But eventually she realized he just has to get this out of his system, but she convinced him at least wear a parachute, which he agreed to.
Okay.
So on the night of July 1st, 1982, he took this contraptionarium to his fiance's house in San Pedro at 1633 West 7th Street because it was kind of on a hill.
Okay.
And he began inflating all 42 balloons with helium. His 4-tiered tower of balloons ended up being 150 feet tall, which of course attracted the police.
Yeah.
But they assured them that it was part of a commercial they were filming the next morning. So they were like, all right, fine. It's the 80s.
Yeah.
We're going to go do cocaine. And then came the morning of July 2nd, and it was time. Larry strapped his parachute onto his back, got into the chair with a CB radio, an altimeter, a camera, a BB gun to pop the balloons if he needed to, a flashlight, a compass, a map of California, a pocket knife, a medical kit, a backup pair of glasses, beef jerky, 8 bottles of water, and 2 liters of Coca-Cola.
Oh, boy.
Everything you need to do the most dangerous thing I could ever think of doing.
That is like a 10-year-old putting all that in a bindle to run away from home for a day.
I'm never coming down. So this was the plan. The chair was tethered to a 1962 Chevy Bonneville, so he was going to get in the chair.
Yeah.
Then his friends and fiance who were on the ground were going to give it some slack so that he'd rise to 100 feet just to test things out. Then they'd cut the lines and he'd slowly rise up to 9,000 feet and then take a casual flight out east to the Mojave Desert where he'd land and make his way back home.
Okay.
This was the plan he had tested and prepared for until nothing could possibly go wrong. And then it was time to actually do it.
Oh, I'm sweating right now.
At 11 a.m., he lifted off, rose much quicker than anticipated, and immediately the ropes tethering him down snapped, and he lurched forward, and his glasses flew off his head. Luckily, he brought, as all good glasses wearers do, he brought a backup pair, but his fiance started begging him on the radio to come down, but he, at this point, was not going to back down from this. He turned off the radio and up he went.
Oh my, he went with it?
Way faster than anticipated.
Oh my.
He was rising up at 800 feet per minute and up and up and up until instead of being at 9,000 feet, he was at 16,000 feet.
Oh, that's a lot more than 9.
But he didn't care because even though it hadn't quite gone as he had planned, he was living the dream he had been dreaming of since he was a little kid. He was flying through the sky attached to balloons in a lawn chair.
Wow.
So just to, in case you're not following, there is now a man in the sky in a lawn chair from Sears attached to weather balloons.
From an Army surplus.
From an Army. He's flying through the air. He got to see all of LA from above.
Whoa.
He saw Catalina Island. He saw the Queen Mary. He saw the Spruce Goose. He did it. He didn't even use his camera to take pictures because he was in pure awe and wanted this experience to be preserved only in his memory.
Okay.
He didn't want it tainted. Like that's like, what's his name? Not Buzz Aldrin, the other guy, Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
He like never talked about going to the moon because he didn't want to dilute that memory.
Right.
Like this was a special thing. This is what it was like for this guy. But then his toes went numb.
Oh, no.
That's because at that altitude, the temperature is 5 degrees.
Yeah.
Then he started getting dizzy. That's because at that altitude, there's barely any oxygen.
Yeah.
The FAA requires you to use oxygen above 12,500 feet in a small plane. And not only was he not in a plane at all, he was already at 16,000 feet with no oxygen. And at the rate he was going, he was headed up to 50,000 feet.
Oh,
and if he got that high, he would literally freeze to death, if not suffocate to death.
Okay.
On top of that, he had drifted into the airspace of the Long Beach airport.
Oh, no!
Which was not only restricted, but unbelievably dangerous.
Yes.
Luckily, before mowing him down in an engine, pilots started seeing him.
Oh, my God.
Both TWA and Delta pilots called into the control tower saying, we have a man in a chair attached to balloons in our 10 o'clock.
Is this a poem? What are you talking about? Are you talking about a dream you had?
I hope you've been drinking like all the other pilots flying into Long Beach. Even Larry knew this was getting too dangerous, so he decided it was time to cut his flight short and come down. That's what the BB gun is for. He shot down 7 of the balloons, but then a strong wind came and blew the gun out of his hands and sent it plummeting to the earth. Now he was truly screwed. He was entirely at the mercy of nature and whatever the balloons decided to do. He thought that he was going to have to use his parachute, but then slowly some of the other balloons started losing their helium and he slowly started to descend.
Okay.
And then quickly started to descend.
Boy.
And then too quickly started to descend. And then way too quickly.
And then he was falling.
He was falling out of the air. He was speeding towards the ground. So he tried to control the descent by cutting open the water jugs attached to the chair, make himself lighter, but the remaining balloons started ripping to shreds and it wasn't doing much good until he finally was careening towards 423 East 44th Way in Long Beach, right by Igor's Alley, where he crashed into some power lines. And because the ropes on his chair were nylon, he miraculously wasn't immediately electrocuted to death. Weirdly, the backyard he landed in was that of a pilot on his day off, lounging by his pool. The whole flight lasted about an hour and a half, and he had gone 10 miles, and waiting for him on the ground were the police and the fire department, who had to cut the power to
How did you do it?
Who had to cut the power to most of Long Beach to get him down safely, and he was immediately arrested.
Wow.
But the people who had been watching this happen loved it.
Oh, I bet.
They couldn't believe what they were seeing. People ran up to him with fragments of the shredded balloons, asking him to autograph them. A little boy named Jerry Fleck said, "Can I keep the chair?" So he gave him the chair.
We gave him the chair?
He gave him the chair.
It should be in a museum.
Well, reporters ran up to him and asked him what he was thinking and why he did it, to which he responded, "A man can't just sit around," which is interesting because he was sitting in a lawn chair. Yeah. As for being arrested, they didn't know what law he broke exactly. They said
you're arrested for being too cool.
for living your dreams. They said after his arrest, "We know he broke some part of the Federal Aviation Act, and as soon as we decide which part it is, some type of charge will be filed."
Don't threaten me with a good time.
So he was let go, but it took a full 2 years to come up with a charge because he didn't actually have a pilot's license, so they didn't know what they could even do to him to punish him. Like, they couldn't take his license away. He didn't have a license. Eventually, the best thing they came up with was violating a controlled airspace, flying without a balloon license, and operating a non-airworthy craft. And he was fined $4,000 for not communicating with air traffic control. He got the fine reduced to $1,500, but it was actually paid for by his fans because by that point, he had developed a following. He had become a minor celebrity. He went on both The Tonight Show and David Letterman. He was eventually in a Timex ad in 1992. He even quit his job to give motivational speeches. He also made it into Ripley's Believe It or Not and won the top prize from the Bonehead Club of Dallas, which is a dream come true. But at the end of the day, he didn't do this for anything other than to do it.
Yeah.
He said, "People ask me if I had a death wish. I tell them, no, it was something I had to do.
Yeah.
I had this dream for 20 years, and if I hadn't done it, I think I would have ended up on a funny farm. Since I was 13 years old, I've been dreaming of going up into the clear blue sky in a weather balloon. By the grace of God, I fulfilled my dream, but I wouldn't do this again for anything." But achieving his dream like this ended up having downsides that he didn't anticipate. To start, he couldn't handle his newfound fame particularly well and ended up breaking up with his fiancée.
Oh, no.
It was called divorce after all. And of course, his speaking career didn't last because fame is fleeting, so he ended up working as a security guard around town. He told those who were close to him around this time that life seems a little empty because I always had this thing to look forward to strive for and dream about. Sadly, we can see where this is going. On October 6, 1993, he hiked up to his favorite spot in Eaton Canyon above Altadena and shot himself in the heart.
Oh my God.
He took his own life, but I wish he could have appreciated the legacy and impact his stupid, pointless stunt had on people.
Yeah.
Like, this made people so happy. To start, he set the record for the highest gas-filled balloon flight, but it's not official because, again, he didn't have a pilot's license, so it can't be official.
Yeah.
He inspired multiple imitators who did similar stunts over the years, strapping balloons to various chairs and things. The A-Team did an episode inspired by this.
It's funny.
There was a musical about this in Philadelphia in the year 2000 called The Flight of the Lawn Chair Man, and also in Manchester in 2024 called 42 Balloons. There was also an Australian movie in 2003 inspired by this called Danny Deckchair, starring Eowyn from Lord of the Rings.
Right?
Yeah, and most famously, as you joked before, the entire premise of Up is inspired by this story.
It is, isn't it?
As for the chair itself, in 2019, the little boy Larry had given the chair to donated the chair to the Smithsonian, where it is on display today until Donald Trump decides to sell it for aluminum scraps or something. But he must have known to some degree because he once said, I didn't think that by fulfilling my goal in life, my dream, that would create such a stir and make people laugh. Which brings us to a very big announcement.
Yeah.
We will not be killing ourselves. I assure you that.
We don't know how to get to Eden Canyon.
It's too scary. I'm still scared of the fire.
I can't make it up there.
This is episode 147 of LA Meekly. We're going to Pokemon this thing, and once we get to 150, we will become LA history masters, and we'll have caught them all.
Yeah.
Which what we're saying is that episode 150 will be our last episode. Yeah, I didn't like saying that.
I can't spell last without LA.
You can't rank us in iTunes ratings without the word last. We're going to do 3 more episodes, 3 more months. I know this is coming of us as a shock, but maybe not. We've been doing this for 13 years.
13 years.
But we're going to have a 3-month wind down time. Let everyone get comfortable with this. We'll do 2 more normal episodes and then 1 goodbye episode. We'll talk about it all much, much more.
Yeah. The clip episode.
A clip episode, but just clips from Hidden History of Los Angeles. We put this at the end to see who the true believers are and if anyone's listening this far. So I'm curious who's going to say anything. Also, I'm going to put out a call to action now and over the next 2 months. If you have a question about us, the show, Los Angeles in general, or anything you want to say, do let us know that we'll read on the air and answer in our final celebration episode. la.meekly@gmail.com or on Instagram, LA_Meekly. We'll talk about it in the coming months. And for our Patreon supporters, our Patreon will not end. I don't want everyone jumping ship immediately. Yeah. We will continue to be your postcard pals for as long as you want to have us sending you postcards. As long as you're subscribed, we will continue to send you them even after the show's over. And also, we're not going away.
Yeah.
Our other show, Candy is Dandy, still going.
We have plenty of candy.
Plenty of candy to eat. We'll still be going strong. If you want more, we're on there. Upwards of at least 2 episodes a month. But a bit of a bombshell. That was our one final item in the junk drawer.
Yeah.
Was that. I say we're going to forego a listener question, 1, to save them up, and 2, because who can ever recover from that? What we just laid on you. And again, we're not going to kill ourselves. Like I was doing the lawn chair story.
There's a 1-to-1.
There's a 1-to-1 -1 though.
Yeah.
As I was doing this story, I was like, wow, this really sums up LA Meekly. A guy in a lawn chair flying over the sky. And then I was like, this is the perfect story. And then he killed himself. Maybe not that one. Wait. But yeah, that was our junk drawer episode and the big bombshell. We've been talking. Let's save the content for the last episode. Okay. All of our decision on this and everything. And,
okay.
Yeah. I almost threw up saying that.
You look ill. You look like you're doing open mic for the first time.
I've come full circle. Well, that's. I'm curious. I want to hear who listened to the end to notice this.
Yeah,
this was a test.
Did you just leave this on in the background, and now suddenly you're thinking about things?
What are they killing themselves?
LA Weekly's done.
All of you have still thought we're LA Weekly this whole time.
And we're only partly sponsored by Cannabis Shop.
And that Greg's their biggest customer. Yeah. But yeah, that's. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
We still have 2 normal episodes coming. We don't have to get too sad yet.
Yeah. We'll save it. We'll
save it.
Yeah.
We'll save the tear. I'm not going to cry for 2 whole months.
No.
Yeah. That'll be a new record.
I'm going to make you drink champagne that last episode. You better be ready. You better empty your bowels.
I'm going to make you watch me eat a whole pie.
Yeah, like that's different than usual.
No, well, it won't be 2 this time. So yeah, we'll see you in April.
Yeah.
And there we'll have a normal episode.
On April Fool's, we will have a normal episode.
It's required by law to have a normal episode on April Fool's. A completely normal episode. Mm-hmm. We should have announced this on April Fool's and then feel like, change our mind and be like,
yeah, it's a joke.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
When we lose everyone on Patreon, it's a joke.
It's a joke.
But yeah, we'll see you in April. Mm-hmm. Hey, that's been yet another episode of LA Meekly. Shooting down this weather balloon, one balloon at a time. Since 2013. Oh no, my God! Yeah, I shot myself in the glasses. My backup pair.
This is a summer Christmas story.